This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the Town of North Haven.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our August Board of Selectmen meeting. I'm joined tonight by our second selectman, Mr. William Piper, and our third select woman, Ms. Sally Boemi, was unable to attend tonight's meeting. Mr. Piper and I are practicing some social distancing here. We do have our masks, but we wanted you to know that we're safe here at Town Hall, but we are still practicing the social distancing and everything else during this COVID pandemic. So I'd like to start by having Mr. Piper and I stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, watching on North Haven TV, we also have an audio component this evening for our residents who are choosing to dial in and listen in to tonight's meeting. So we'll start with the approval of our minutes from the Board of Selectmen meeting of July 2nd, 2020. Bill, do we have a motion to accept?
Thank you. I've reviewed the minutes, and I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as they've been written.
All right, I'll second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item number 4, I wanted to spend a few minutes on two very important subjects. Here we are, Thursday evening, and on August 6th, I wanted to provide a storm update, and then we'd like to speak a little bit about how important it is to maintain the discipline regarding this COVID-19 pandemic, and I'll turn that portion over to Mr. Piper. So over the course, ladies and gentlemen, of the past 2 days, we've had probably over 1,000 phone calls here in town, and everything has come to a halt here at our town hall with only one priority: to help each and every one of our residents who've been in need during this storm. This, with all the storms we've gone through down through the years. Now, this is my 11th year in office, so we have a lot of experience in managing these storms. Hurricane Irene, Storm Alfred, Storm Sandy, blizzards, tornadoes here in town. This was one of the worst in terms of power outages. In fact, it was calculated to be the third worst storm in state history from a power outage standpoint. Here in North Haven, during that storm, we had a record 43% of the people were out of power here in town. That is almost unheard of here in North Haven, and that's the magnitude of the storm. Over the past 2 days, I've been driving through the streets during the day, at night, speaking with residents, and the devastation I saw was staggering. Trees in houses, trees all over, limbs, branches, roads that were impassable. What we've done, we've immediately went into action. Our public works crew was clearing roads with branches and trees that had shut down roads, and we did that where there were no live wires. Now, those roads that were closed, or those trees that were down across roads with wires intertwined in them, that is where the UI has to come into play, and that's what they've been doing the last couple of days. What we did, in addition to clearing all the roads that had no wires in the roads, we had Public Works work in tandem with the UI where there were wires. So that was a team effort where the UI would de-energize the wires, remove the wires, and then our Public Works staff would assist the UI make safe crews in terms of clearing those roads. Now, here we are Thursday night at 7:05. We still have 1,310 people without power. And all day long, up until we walked into this conference room, I've been trying to help people with the UI. That equates to about 13% of North Haven is still out of power. In the UI trading area with the 16 or 17 municipalities, 22% of the region is out of power, with some towns, believe it or not, here we are 2 days later, some towns with 70 and 75% of their residents still out of power. So we're not going to be satisfied until we get everybody here back with power. So we have crews in town. We know where they are. They're currently working as we sit here this evening in some major problematic areas, and hopefully we can continue to make progress here. I wanted each and every one of our citizens to know that I put out a release today, and it's hit social media, it'll hit the newspapers, and it is as follows. Because of the significant debris all over town, even though it'll probably cost the town anywhere between $300,000 and $500,000 for that cleanup, I know one thing, ladies and gentlemen, and what I know is each and every one of you have gone through some very tumultuous times these past 3 to 4 months. I know there's a lot of anxiety and stress out there. I talk to hundreds of people a week, and I know how stressful this pandemic has been, and now on the heels of that, or in the middle of that, we have to deal with this storm. So we're going to be providing the service for curbside pickup for trees, limbs, and branches. You'll see the press release. There are some guidelines. We don't want those piles in the roadways. We want them within the 10-foot right-of-way, from the curb 10 feet in to your individual home property. Please stack the debris neatly. We're asking for 4 to 5 foot sections cut up, stacked neatly, so our public works in this massive labor-intensive effort can perform the service as effectively and efficiently as possible. This will start on Monday, August 17th. We thought about starting it immediately, but we also recognize that many of you watching, listening, many of you residents throughout the town, you're going to need time, some of you, to assemble the debris, maybe in your backyards, your side yards. So we're giving you another week, starting tomorrow through next week, and then we'll be out there to engage in this service and clean up the town, help the residents, starting Monday the 17th. So watch for that press release, please. Now, as far as COVID-19, we still here at Town Hall are practicing tremendous discipline. Hand sanitizers, masks for people that come in, social distancing. So Bill Piper and I were talking about these protocols, and I'd like to turn it over to him to offer each and every one of you some continued advice on what we think is very important. Bill?
Thank you, Mike. And I think for those that are watching on TV, I think you can notice that we are not wearing our masks tonight. If Sally, if Ms. Buemi, our other select person was with us tonight, we would still have masks on like we were at our last Board of Selectmen meeting. We're actually a good 12 feet apart, which I think, is us being prudent, in terms of distancing. We could be closer, 6 feet. We're not, we're from the standpoint of having our temperature taken, having no symptoms, having no known exposure. I think we've done all the things that we should do. And during these very difficult times, I think it's, especially with this storm, and all the damage upon us, it's not a time for us to become complacent, because we have done so well in our community in North Haven and in the state of Connecticut. As you can see from a lot of the other parts of the country, I think there's been situations where other states have maybe relaxed or changed some of their guidelines, and this virus, this COVID, can come back very quickly, very easily, and change everything. So it's really important that we continue to do everything that we should in terms of social distancing, in terms of wearing masks when we're in public, in terms of washing our hands. From a testing standpoint, the news continues to be good. In that the number of people who've come back positive is less than 1%. But on the other hand, if you look at it every day, there are still people coming back who are positive. About 100 people a day. Because of us, because of the number of testing. It's less than 1%, but it's still people are still getting it. The virus is still there, so it's not a time to to be lax. I think there's a lot on everybody's plate, like Mike said, including not only the virus but the economic impact of the virus. So I think everybody's encouraged to do everything that we've been doing all along to at least get us to the to this point. And there's hope for at some point. I think increasingly with all the money and all the pharmaceutical and biotech companies, there is some hope that there might be a vaccine, sooner than later. So don't give up. You've had one more challenge. I think everybody in this town and in the state have been up to the challenge of the virus based on where we're at today. But it's not a time to actually stop doing what we've done, I think, well for the last several months. So I don't know if you have anything.
Yeah, that was very good, Bill. Thank you. I would say this to summarize or close off Bill's summarization. Even at sporting events, ladies and gentlemen, baseball games as an example, we must please not get complacent. It's easy, watching our children play baseball, and believe me, I played over 1,200 games in my career, so I know what happens in dugouts and in stands with fans watching. But even there, even though it's open, try to maintain a little bit that social distancing. Wear the masks where necessary. I know Little League has strict guidelines, and I'm hopeful and confident that our sports leagues are adhering to those guidelines. It's very, very important. We have a lot of responsible people who are volunteers running those leagues, and I know they're doing the best they can also. So we need help. We need a good collaborative effort to continue to stay safe here. So thank you. And Bill, one final.
There's a lot we don't know. I mean, I think at first they told us, well, because of a shortage of masks, we should make sure we give, that we we don't wear masks initially because we needed to ensure that people who were either sick or in the medical professions or first responders had masks. But then I think the guidance has changed. And I think then the next thing they told us was that we should wear masks because it protects other people. But now I've read some things that even indicate that wearing a mask, even a cloth mask, gives you some protection as well from other people.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot we don't know, and I think there's a lot we're learning, but clearly it seems from other countries in the world, wearing a mask has a lot to do with protecting others as well as, and maybe even yourself. So, I think it's not much, it's not easy to do sometimes, I mean, especially in this weather, but it's something that's definitely necessary that we all continue to do.
Okay, thanks, Bill. All right, so we're going to move through the rest of the agenda here, and we'll go to item number 5, and Bill, I'll ask you to read that.
Thank you, Mike. Item number 5 is to consider and vote upon a resolution authorizing the sale and disposal of surplus police department vehicles, or of vehicle. Number 6, resolved, the town of North Haven authorizes the auction and disposal of a surplus police department vehicle. At present, there is one vehicle leaving the fleet and available for auction. The vehicle is identified as former car number 8, a 2010 Ford Explorer color white, VIN number 1FMEU7DE8A78055. The Director of Finance, Ed Swinkowski, is authorized to determine acceptable bid offers and or take said vehicles to an alternate auction location. All revenue received will return to the North Haven General Fund.
Okay. Thank you, Bill. This is something we do, ladies and gentlemen, every year. So I'd like to entertain a motion on that resolution. Bill?
I've made a motion, by through reading the resolved.
All right, I'll second it. All those in favor? Aye. All right, Bill, please continue.
Number 7 and number 8 involve to consider and vote upon a blanket resolution authorizing the town of North Haven to enter into and deliver any and all documents necessary to the State of Connecticut Department of Emergency Service and Public Protection Division of Emergency Management and Homeland Security, enabling participation in the fiscal year 2020 State Homeland Security Grant Program. So I'll make a motion to resolve that the Town of North Haven Board of Selectmen may enter into with and deliver to the State of Connecticut Department of Emergency Service and Public Protection, Division of Emergency Management and Homeland Security, and all documents which it deems to be necessary or appropriate, and further resolved that Michael J. Frieda, as first selectman of the Town of North Haven, is authorized and directed to execute and deliver any and all documents on behalf of the Town of North Haven, and to do and perform all acts and things which he deems to be necessary or appropriate to carry out the terms of such document.
Okay, I'll second that motion. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
And that's a resolution I think that we do, like you said, every year.
every year, yes. All right, item number 9, resignations and appointments. Bill and I will rotate on this. We have the resignation of Mr. Alan Fontana of 6 Crestview Drive from the Commission on Aging. The term was to expire December 31st, 2022. And I just want to thank Mr. Fontana. You know, I've known Alan for many, many years. He's a consummate gentleman. He did a great job on this commission. We enjoyed having him on the commission, and we're going to miss him on this commission. So, Alan, if you're watching tonight, I want to tell you that I've enjoyed our relationship down through the years. Thank you for sitting for all the years that you have, and I wish you the very best. So, can I have a second on that?
I'll second Alan's resignation.
All right. All those in favor? Aye. Bill?
Next item is the reappointment of Michael J. Frieda, 90 Highland Park Road, to the Greater New Haven Transit Board of Directors for a 4-year term retroactive to April 1, 2020 and expiring on April 1, 2024.
Okay. This is a board, ladies and gentlemen, that several years ago I was asked to sit on, and it's been beneficial for us here in North Haven because it allows me to really be part of something that's very, very important for our citizens and citizens all over the region, and that is the shuttle bus services for the elderly, for the disabled, for those that are impaired, and it's a rewarding experience sitting on that, and I know that the Transit District does great work. They asked me to come back again, which I agreed to do, and that's why it's on the agenda. So I can't second my own reappointment, Bill.
So I'll second my motion for lack of anybody else seconding it. So
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll abstain. So motion carries. All right. The third item is the reappointment of Mrs. Fran Notaro, 35 Green Hill Road, to the Conservation Commission for a 4-year term to expire April 11th, 2020. Val, is that right? 2020?
Almost 30, it's expiring.
Okay.
At the end of this month.
Okay, so Fran and I have known each other for many years. Fran is involved with a lot in the town. The Bantam Trail Association, the trail down at Bantam. Fran, and you've done a lot for the town. You've been involved with the Historical Society, so I want to thank you very much for your involvement. It's our delight. 2024. So,
yeah, I think we need to amend the
all right,
agenda to be.
Sorry.
I think that's
Okay.
what Mike was saying. That's okay.
All right, so we mentioned it was 2020. I asked Val if that was correct. It's actually 2024, a 4-year term. So
I'll second Fran's reappointment.
all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, Bill?
And same situation on this one. I think we need to amend the agenda just simply to indicate that the 4-year term expires also on August 31st, 2024. So I'll make a motion to reappoint Susan Danhofer, 36 Carina Road, to the Conservation Commission for a 4-year term to expire August 31st, 2024.
Okay. Susan, I'd like to thank you for your service on this commission also, and thank you for agreeing to be reappointed. So I'll second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Bill, would you like to handle property tax refunds?
Yeah, number 10, actually number 10 on the agenda, not number 7, is property tax refunds. And I've looked at the refunds, and I don't see anything unusual, or and they're all small amounts. So I'll make a motion to approve the property tax refunds that have been presented.
Okay, I'll second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next item, Bill, on the agenda?
And next one is, as we often have on the agenda, item number 11, as opposed to number 8. So we'll amend the agenda to indicate that's 11. There is one bond release. It's number P13-04, Lexington Gardens, 500 Middletown Avenue. The amount of the original bond was $372,000 and $40,000. The current balance of the bonds is $250,000 and $20,000. So I'll make a motion to release the bond balances in their entirety, based on the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission, which I've looked at.
Yes. Okay. I'll second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and the last item before we adjourn is that our next meeting of the Board of Selectmen is Thursday, September 3rd here at Memorial Town Hall. And we look forward to seeing you at that point in time, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much for joining us, those watching on North Haven TV and those listening in here this evening. So we're at item number 10, Bill, adjournment. Motion to adjourn.
And maybe just as a a separate comment at the end here, I wanted to thank. I know the fire department's been out, the police department's been out, Public Works has been out clearing or helping clearing trees, so that to the best of their ability, that don't involve electrification, which needs to be done by UI. But so many of and then everybody here's been on in town hall, as well as all our first responders and Public Works, and everybody on the Board of Ed side, in terms of the people who take care of the buildings and the grounds and everything. I think everybody's really stepped up in terms of the various departments and employees of the town of North Haven to try to get us through this emergency situation that we had, which I think was very much unexpected in terms of the intensity of this storm. So I wanted to express my thanks and for everything that everybody's done to to try to get us back to normal again in terms of this situation that's developed in the last couple of days.
Thank you. Thanks, Bill.
So based on that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right. So moved. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you at the next meeting. Thank you.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.